On August 6, 1945, Harry Truman gave the order for a plane to drop a crude atom bomb over Hiroshima, Japan. When that bomb hit the ground, every building within 4.7 miles of the epicenter was leveled instantly. 93,000 people died immediately. That's a lot of people. And 300,000 people died eventually from the fallout, from the radiation. Unprecedented destruction. That one episode in 1945 changed everything in how we deal with the rest of the world. World politics changed immediately. Threats of nuclear weapons. And here we are, many years later, and we're still seeing the domino effects of that one event in history. I find it really fascinating to think about how one decision from one man, one bomb, could have such far-reaching effects. And of course, it's not just nuclear bombs. We could go back in history and find a whole bunch of stories about how a single event or a single individual changed the whole course of history and the futures of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who would come later were affected by it. It's a really fascinating concept. And today I'm going to call this the power of one. And I actually want to begin today by taking you back to the book of Genesis, where we see God creating the world, and He's speaking things into existence. He's creating the sun and the stars and the trees. And lastly, His crowning achievement in all of this was mankind. He breathes life into Adam, and He places him in a beautiful garden. And everything's perfect. And God gives him a command. And you remember this. One command, one rule. And the rule is, Adam, you see that tree over there? That's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't go over there. Whatever you do, don't touch it, don't eat it, because if you do, you will surely die. And of course, we all know the story. Adam does it anyway. One act of disobedience, and suddenly things begin to die. Adam begins to die. He begins to experience shame and nakedness, and suffering enters the world. Pain enters the world. And the whole course of human history is altered because of one act from one man. And do you know that today we are still feeling the fallout from that one single act of disobedience? If you haven't noticed, things aren't quite right with the world. There is pain, there is suffering, and there is death. Why is that? Well, it's historically, literally, the result of one man's disobedience. We're talking about the power of one. So, having said that, let's jump into verse 12. Therefore, just as through one man, talking about Adam, sin entered the world. Entered literally means to invade, like an army. Sin just came pouring in. And death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned. Here's a theological truth. We all sinned in Adam. Before you ever did one thing wrong, you and I came into the world already messed up, already defective, already sinful. Why is that? Because you were born in Adam. It's kind of like kids that are born addicted to crack cocaine, all because of their mother. Really tragic. But you see, they come out of the womb already messed up, already craving crack cocaine. They're being punished because of what the parents did. And as soon as they come out of the womb, they're already in bondage. And so do all of us. We come out of the womb with these cravings to sin. We come out already addicted to it. We know it's wrong, and you get to wondering sometimes, man, why am I this way? Well, you can thank your old man, Adam. Thanks a lot. I got this fallen nature from my father, Adam. We were born into it. We were born in Adam. Now, you might say, well, that's not fair, that I'm being punished for what Adam did. Well, you're right. It doesn't seem fair, but that's the power of one. Just like when that mama ingested that cocaine, so was the baby. When the mom was getting high, so was the baby. It wasn't the baby's fault, but the baby was in the mother, you see. It was soaking it all up. And it's the same with us. When Adam was getting high on that forbidden fruit called sin, guess who else was soaking all that stuff up? We were in his loins, to use a biblical phrase. Paul goes on, verse 13. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed. In other words, it can't actually be charged against you when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over those who had not sinned according to the likeness of the transgression of Adam, who is a type of him who was to come. Now, we could spend a lot of time on this verse, but the bottom line here is Paul's telling us everybody dies. Doesn't matter how good you are or how bad you are, how much you know about God's law or you don't know, everybody's under the same curse because of what Adam did. We were all born in Adam. And it says here, Adam is a type of him who was to come. And I love this part because Paul is about to make a profound contrast between Adam and Jesus. Jesus is called the last Adam. Let's go to verse 15. But the free gift is not like the offense. And catch this. For if by the one man's offense, in talking about the power of one here, if by the one man's offense many died, much more the grace of God by the gift of the one man, Jesus Christ, abounded to many. And I love this phrase, much more, because it's not just barely skating by, trying to stay even. The first Adam brings death. That's pretty powerful. But then it's Jesus' turn. And he comes along and he says, not only am I going to beat death, but I'm going to give you life and life much more abundantly. Not only do you live eternally, but you're going to rule and reign with Christ as a joint heir. We'll talk about that in Romans chapter 8. But you're going to be glorified with the Son of God much more than you ever had before the fall. It's much, much more. And the last Adam completely outdoes the first Adam. Not even a competition. And we'll get into the details about what that actually means tomorrow. And I'll see you next time.